Hi everyone, this is Penny once again, and today I am fortunate to be talking to my friend from the trainer of Jack Canfield. Is Glen. Glen is from the USA, and I'm lucky and grateful that he said yes to this conversation. Glen, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where you are from and what you do?
I'm in Dallas, Texas, in the U.S., and I have an interior design firm. We do interiors and interior architecture. I'm also a professor. I teach interior design, and I'm a trainer and coach, and I am in the process of writing 2 books. So it's been a fun process, and it's been, since the trainer, it's been very good to use all those tools to help people. So it's been fun. I'm really enjoying life, and even through this crisis, using a lot of those tools for the people I know and friends and whatever. So yeah, it's good, and it's so good, and I'm so proud that you asked me to be a part of this. So thank you.
And thank you for saying yes. And we were together last year and the year before. We've been together for quite some time now. So what have you been doing? Are you in, we call it, enhanced community quarantine, in other words, lockdown in
Yes,
Texas?
we have been for about a week now, and I I think one of the things that helps people a lot through these kinds of times is to try to maintain a regular routine.
Mm-hmm.
I still try to get up around the same time. I get ready for work the same way. We have breakfast and, doing the same things. And then, you know, um, I'm fortunate because, I have an office at home, but I come up to the office and I still am working on projects for clients, and I take time during the day to look at some positive things and to meditate. And so there's a lot of things that we can do. I try to look at the news only once a day,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so that it doesn't really depress us and get us down, because we there can be so much negative online and in the news. And try to read and to keep up with trying to improve. So there's ways of keeping ourselves with that, in a positive light, and that's kind of what we all need to do, and to rely on each other. And also I've been taking the time, a little bit of a downtime, to call people that I haven't seen in a long time, just to say hello and see how they're doing. And that lifts me up, because they're so appreciative of me calling and checking on them and whatever. And so just little things like that can change our day, and just make us and help us have a good day.
Okay, you mentioned the routine is important.
Routine is really important, because in our lives we're so used to a routine, and if we can maintain some semblance of that, whether it be if you're not working, then maybe look for and learn some things that will help you with work when you get back, and that will give you some time to spend in a learning process, and keeping your brain functioning in a positive way. And there's things to there's ways to look at what kinds of things do you do at work, and how can you help improve the way you work, so
Mm-hmm.
that you become more productive and more efficient. So now's the time that we can all reflect on what we're doing. And I've been doing the same thing. I mean, it's like I've been looking at some of the systems that we have, and I've been getting organized, and looking at some different ways of doing things. I was talking to my accountant the other day, and we were like, what if we did this? So I'm going to actually save time, because we're changing the way that we process some of our transactions within the company. So there's always something that we can do related to work to keep us in that kind of work mindset, so that we don't go off into a different, down a rabbit hole. So,
Mm-hmm.
but also there's so many positive things online that we can look at and learn, and so many learning opportunities. You can log into websites from museums around the world and do a tour, so we can travel online. So if we had vacations planned, let's go to those same places and look at the websites and look at the museums and all the places that are doing virtual tours of these places. So there's so much that we can do. It's just that we need to just look at it in a different mindset, and come from a different direction. And that's something that I think we everybody's worried, and I am as well. But we only have control over our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And so, I think that sounds
Yes.
familiar to you, Penny.
Yes.
And so if we can take control of those things, and what can we do? There was a call today that I was on with the Canfield group, and Kathleen Seeley is just the most incredible lady. I love her to death, and she says, if we can just stop and get control of our thoughts, and the thing that is bothering us the most, look at it from a different perspective. What other perspectives can we look at it from? We can't change what's actually happening right now. We can help people through it, but we can't change it. And so how can, looking at how we can help people through it, like I said, calling or doing just small things. If you have a neighbor that's, very old and can't get out, call them and ask them what they need. And we can, when we go get groceries for ourselves, we can pick up groceries for them. That not only makes them feel good, or when we call, it makes people feel good, but it makes us feel good at the same time, because we're able to help other people. So just look at things from a different perspective. And when something is starting to get you down, look at it from a different perspective. Just stop your thoughts, change your negative thoughts to, look at it in a different perspective, and change it to positive things that we can do. And that's just, we have
Yeah.
to change the way we think. It's a different world today, and we'll all be different from it. But I think now is a time that as a society, we're called to be, a one society, a one world society, so that we think of people in different ways, just because they're different than us and from other countries or whatever, that we're all one society. We're all, one race. And as we look at it, when you look at people as being different and terrible or whatever, we have to survive as a human society. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a wake-up call for us, I think.
This is a call for the human race, not
It
not
is.
not just China or Japan or Korea or Iran or Italy or Spain or the US. It's all over the world. And as one
Yeah.
human race, as you mentioned, the things that we can control are the things that we think about, and the things that we do, like stay home,
Yeah.
stay safe,
You know,
stay home.
there's we also have, for 3 years, we went to the Dallas Museum of Art on a talk about kindness. And one of the things that they were talking about was that we can't do anything without the kindness of others. And even when somebody's pissing you off, they're being kind to you because they're teaching you patience. And I just
Oh,
thought that was one of the best
wow.
ways of looking at it. Kindness is, we can't do anything without the kindness of others, and that's so true. But as we look at how we progress through things, we started going to the guy who gave that talk on kindness was the Buddhist teacher at the Kadampa Meditation Center in downtown Dallas. And so we went to his series on kindness, which was incredible. And then he did a series on mindfulness. And
Mm-hmm.
so we went to that. And so we've been going for 3 years now. And it's just been an incredible process, because we learned and are still learning how to meditate and how to meditate better. But there's some little things, like during the day, I give some of my students some just little small techniques to think about. And when you get stressed, or when you get feeling overwhelmed, one of the things to do is just close your eyes and breathe slowly. Just concentrate on your breath. As we all know, when we breathe in, it's cool. And when we breathe out, it's warm. So concentrate on your breath. But at the same time, as you breathe in, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it for a sec, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you do that 5 times. When you're counting and you're concentrating on your breath and you're trying to breathe slowly, your mind can't think of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is you clear your mind. And by the time you do that 5 times, then you're back to kind of being centered, and you can get back and focus on what you're trying to focus on. Your blood pressure goes down, you're calmer, and you're more focused. So that is just one little technique that we can use to be able to make ourselves get through some of the times that we feel overwhelmed, and when we start thinking on the negative, going down the rabbit hole. Just stop yourself, just do that little technique, and that can help us, to recenter and to refocus at the same time.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of people who will be watching this or who are watching this will learn from that. Just the breathing technique is so important, and
Yeah,
centering.
one of my students has some real anxiety, problems, and I got a note from her the other day because I gave her that uh, um, little exercise, and then I gave her the mirror exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and gave her some affirmations to say every day. And she sent me an email yesterday, and she said, I'm so glad that you have given me all of those tools to use. She says, because it has made a difference. I was so depressed a lot, and she goes, now those little tools that you've given me have changed my life. I'm a lot calmer, and all the things I'm having to go through. She says, I am able to, and I don't have to increase my medication. And so little things that we can do, or little concepts that we can think of to change our mindset from negative to positive, can have such profound effects on us. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing to keep in mind, is the little techniques, little things, and little ways of thinking about things differently can really change our mindset and change our whole physical body functions at the same time, and calm us down, keep our blood pressure down, and it really make some differences. So little concepts can make such profound things. So find the little concepts that can make you smile, or the little concepts that can change how we think. And so it's a really different world, and we have to start thinking differently.
Oh, you're helping. Thank you for those tips. You're really helping a lot of people, your students. Something that I could share with my students as well. I'll put it in Zoom so that they can watch it as well. Those tips really help. I've heard a lot of students say, I'm anxious, I'm alone because they couldn't go home to their families when the lockdown happened, and they're just so anxious about the whole thing. And
Yeah.
very good tips. I appreciate you for sharing those tips.
Oh, you're
Really.
welcome. Well, I challenge everybody to just think about who you haven't heard from a while, and tomorrow just pick up the phone, give them a call just to see how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're there, you'll have a conversation, and you'll feel better about it. So if you're feeling down, call somebody, hear their voice, give them a cheerful greeting, and you'll see how it changes your whole demeanor.
That's good. Oh, that's a good advice. So anyone who's listening, if you're not talking to anybody, if you feel down, not even just when you feel down, at any
Yeah.
point in the day, you're home 24/7 now because many of us have no choice. Then just pick up the phone, send a Viber, WhatsApp, Telegram message, or Facebook, FaceTime. And there are lots of technology now that you can use to say hi, hello to people that you've not talked to for a long, long time. And like now, I'm talking to Glenn, and then I thought I wouldn't see him this year, but look, I'm seeing you today.
Yeah, and we need to do this more often.
I love it. I love it. And yes, one of the just sharing with you one of the people that I interviewed, Stefan, who is my accountability partner, shared with everyone also the mirror exercise. So he did a demo of the mirror exercise, and it was good. So teaching people, thank you for sharing the breathing exercise, the centering exercise. That's really really wonderful.
Yeah,
So
those little things can make
mhm,
such a big difference. Such a
so
big difference.
definitely, definitely. So has your business been affected? Your interior design business been affected because of this lockdown?
Um, I haven't, because we've had to put off some deliveries and stuff because the delivery service is not working. But at the same time, I'm very lucky because I have two projects that I need to work on here anyway, because it's designing and putting together the floor plans for two new homes. So it's designing them from ground up. But I've talked to a lot of people who, in the commercial and the residential sector, that because of this, a lot of people are worried about what's going to happen and what's going on and whatever. So their projects have been put on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and with that is that, and also I'm very lucky because the two clients that I'm working with, they pay very well. You send them an invoice and you get a check in the mail, and the next day or the 2 days after. Whereas some people, their clients are, waiting to pay and whatever, and they don't realize that, they need to pay the people who've done the work, because those people have to survive as well. And so, I'm very lucky, but I have some friends who are very worried. They have more employees than I do. I mean, I have two, and so I'm very lucky with that, because we've been paring down over the last 3 years. But I have some projects that I have one they just called, and as soon as this is over, we're going to be able to go and meet and help them with a remodel. So I'm good, but I know that there's a lot of people who it's affecting their business. Because there's a lot of our vendors who are shut down because of this. I just got a text before I came on from a guy who's the marketing director for a major furniture company, and they're doing okay right now, and they're still working. But I got a letter from a company yesterday that their facilities are totally shut down, and so all of their employees are not working. But they're very lucky because the company has been very successful, so they're paying their employees through this. So some people are very lucky in that way, and some people are not. So I mean, it's such a wide variation of how this is affecting people. And so it's we're very grateful that we're okay. And and my employees, one of them is an independent contractor, and she is doing stuff remotely. And then the other one, we're trying to set stuff or change stuff up, because everything was on our servers, and now we're kind of trying to move everything to the cloud so that she can work remotely, and we can do some things that she normally would do here in the office. So because she's 60 miles, or not 60, she's 35 miles away, which is about an hour in traffic and stuff. So if we can get this remotely going, then we can work differently now.
Exactly.
And she doesn't have to drive in every single day. And so she, so this is going to change. It's going to change how we work and how we live and all of that. So let this be a learning experience for everybody. And rather than being, negative and down, what can we learn from this? How can we become better, and how can we better ourselves and become more, how can we be more of service to others? This is a time to reflect, and a time to use in a positive way to help us grow, rather than have it diminish us.
Exactly. Thank you for those words of time for reflection, because it really is.
Yeah.
The world will be different after this.
And hopefully it'll be better,
Yep. Hopefully, and I pray that this pandemic goes away like right away. But we know that it will take time. It will bring humanity back to being a human, not robots.
Yeah.
All right.
But and that's one of the things that Kathleen said today, and Patty were saying, is that how can we better be of service to others? Because as human beings, we're all made to be of service. That's just who we are, and that's in our DNA. And so when we think of that, and we think about the concept of kindness, and those kinds of things, and how can we help other people, and being mindful in our actions and our words, those are concepts that, I'm not supposed to touch my face. It's making us aware of our behavior and our habits.
Exactly.
So it's making us better all at the same time. But when we think of how we can be of service to others, and how we can help others improve, you and I do that with students all the time. We help them learn, help them become better, and help them grow, whatever. But how can we just help other people around us to do the same thing, friends and family, and how can we be the light and the example for other people? And so if we can help spread that kind of mentality, it's amazing what we can do. And thank God for us, and I'm very grateful that we were able to do the Canfield certification, because it's really the principles have really been a life-changing thing for me. And I try to help other people understand as much as possible in everyday life, not just with students or in business or whatever, but just people around me. And so it's when we become of service, it changes our lives. Not only changes other people, but it changes our lives as well.
And yes, it changes our lives, and being of service to others is really what you and I do. And thank you for the advice that you've given to everyone who's watching. And really, is there anything that you'd like to add, or something, an advice to the people from all parts of the world that you like to say at this time, Glenn?
Well, it's just kind of reiterating some of the same things, is that, when we can be of service to other people, the whole world is better. And if we can spread that light of helping others, being mindful of how we treat other people, um, and because I don't care what country you're from, what religion you are, or whatever, the bottom line is that we need to love and respect our fellow man, no matter who they are, where they come from. And when we can spread that kind of light and that kind of, or that kindness
Mm.
that, we can share, the whole world becomes better. And that's the only way that we'll get through this. We'll get through other catastrophes that might happen, but that's the only way we'll survive, and in the end, as a human race. And so we just have to, like Kathleen said, think differently. Look at it from different perspectives, and what's the best perspective we can look at it, rather than, other than kindness and respect and helping other people.
Thank you for those advice. Really, the world will change, and kindness and being of service to others, and the thoughts that we think, the way that we act towards one another, I think will change our
One
lives
thing that,
now.
yeah, one thing that I learned at the last Canfield training, there was one of the students who is um, a transformational arbitration attorney, and he takes his clients, from whatever the outcome is, he takes them through the process of getting through wherever they need to go with that, and to understand it and whatever. One of the things that he says, he goes, Glenn, he goes, I try to live my life every single day with no expectations whatsoever. He says, because if you can go through life with no expectations, then you're never disappointed, but at the same time, it puts you more in the moment. And when you're in the moment is when you connect better with people. And when you look at kindness and being of service, we'll be more kind and be more of service when we're in the moment. And that's kind of like being mindfulness, at the same
Yes.
time. But it was just like no expectations. And coming from being a leader and then being an assistant in the Jack Canfield deal, it was a whole different mindset change for me. And
Mm-hmm.
because we're just there being of service to whatever might come up. But being able to go from being the leader and the teacher and the owner of the business and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, coming back to just being of service. I learned as much that week about myself because of that one thing that he said, of just no expectations. Can you live your life with no expectations and just be in the moment and be mindful of everything you do and say, and be mindful of how you treat other people? That's just a whole different way of living, and you learn so much at the same time, and you grow. You grow
Yes.
tremendously, and so wherever you are, whatever you're doing, during the day or whatever, just be mindful of what you're thinking and what you're doing, and always try to make it positive, and look at things from different perspectives, so that we stay positive and we grow and we become better during this time, rather than letting it minimize us.
I love what you're sharing, Glenn. The mindfulness, the breathing, the being kind, the being of service, the no expectations. I just love what you have shared today. So thank you. I know it's evening your time, right?
Yeah, it's about 12 minutes after 9 in
Oh,
the evening.
okay.
So,
So
well,
it's
I'm a night owl anyway, so this is kind of early for me. I don't,
anyway.
I don't normally go to, I don't normally go to bed till midnight. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So thank you
So,
for
so we're good.
conversation. Thank you for this conversation.
You are so
And
welcome. And it's
and
always nice to share such, wonderful ideas and things, especially with you and your group of people. I know how much your people appreciate what you share, because you come from the heart and you're so authentic. And so I love doing and sharing that stuff with you, because it's just, I know that you're appreciative and I'm appreciative of what you say. So that's one of those things of being kind to each other.
yes.
It's amazing it's amazing what we get when we get together. And that's just, I love that. So
Oh yes. And
I
yes. And
appreciate you asking me to be here.
And
It's been a real honor and a pleasure.
and thank you. I am grateful to you. I'm grateful for you saying yes so that we can see each other and we can talk like this and
That's
share
great.
it to
Let's
the
do it again.
world. Share it
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
world. Okay, so thank you once again. And you stay safe,
Well, thank you so much. I will.
and
You
you
as well, and your family as well.
and you stay home
And
as much as you
congratulations. Didn't
can.
you have a new one?
Oh,
Didn't you have,
new
didn't you have a,
grandson.
yeah.
Yeah, like, it's
Yeah, I saw
already.
that online. I was like,
Yeah,
congratulations. He's so
yeah.
cute.
It's so cute. Yeah. Well, getting old, we can't go out of the house, but it's okay. Being productive and sharing it to the world.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks once again. And you have a
You're
good
quite welcome.
evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is over there. Okay, thank
Thank you so
you.
much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.